Hey guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In 1 Samuel chapter 24, we read about a time in which David had the opportunity to kill Saul. If you remember, Saul has been pursuing David. Saul is the king of Israel, and he had the kingdom stripped away from him because of his disobedience, and God was raising up another one, namely David, who would take his place. And Saul was very jealous and envious and suspicious of David. So he's going around chasing David everywhere. And David enters into this cave, hiding out from Saul. And lo and behold, Saul enters into the cave to relieve himself. And he's in a very vulnerable position. And the men of David say, look, this is the opportunity. God's given you an opportunity to avenge yourself. They say, behold, this is the day of which Yahweh said to you, behold, I am about to give your enemy into your hand, and you shall do to him as it seems good in your eyes. So they said, this is the opportunity for you to avenge yourself and to rid yourself of this persecutor of Saul. And David does cut off Saul's robe, but even later regrets it. And he recognizes the fact that no, Saul is the anointed of God, and I won't raise my hand up against God's anointed. And so he chooses not to kill Saul in that particular situation. And so he realized that even though he had an opportunity to do it, it wasn't the right thing to do. And that's a very important principle for us to follow as well in life. As we're trying to follow God's will, and as we're trying to make our way through life, we might fall into the temptation of thinking that every opportunity that presents itself must be God's will. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the opportunity. And so we might live a life of always being misdirected, going in circles, because we think every time we have an opportunity, that must mean that it's God's will. And this story teaches us that even though an opportunity might present itself to an individual, doesn't necessarily mean that the person needs to walk through the doors of opportunity at that particular point. And there were some things that David had going for him that allowed him to be able to discern this. For one, he was familiar with God's word, and he was familiar with God's workings, and he knew that the Lord would not be pleased with him killing his anointed. And so David was in tune with the will of God because he was a follower of the law of God. He was a student of God's law. And he also had been walking with the Lord for quite some time and had a deep abiding relationship with the Lord to where he would have known the heart of God in the particular situation. But then also he followed his conscience. He realized, when he cut the robe and he felt bad for what he did, that was an indicator that, he just felt that something wasn't right in his heart of hearts. And you could say perhaps he had an informed intuition or, an informed inner knowing. But whatever you might call it, he knew that this wasn't right. And he recognized that it wasn't right. And he didn't take on the opportunity to do this. And the same thing would be true with us. We got to really be in God's word. We got to be walking with the Lord in fellowship with the Lord to become closer to him and to know more of the mind and the will of God, so that when opportunities present themselves, yes, we might consider them, but because we know the heart of God, because we've been walking with him and drawing close to him and learning from his word, we can say, you know what, this might seem like a good opportunity. It might seem like it's something that I should follow, but in my heart of hearts, I know that it's something I should not follow. And to be able to discern between these things takes a lot of homework, and it takes a lot of preparation to allow that to take place. And then, of course, we can sometimes just know in our gut feeling that something doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem like the right path, and we need to follow that as well. And so hopefully today, as we do our reading, we'll remember this, that not every opportunity is an opportunity we should take. Yes, it's true that God does open up doors of opportunity for us. It is true that sometimes God does direct us by opening up the way for us. But at the same time, we need to use discernment, And we need to really be informed by God's word so that we can know where it is that the Lord would have us to go, so that we can be walking in the direction that he would have us to go. So here's some things we can reflect on and think about as we are reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.